What's good, everybody? Welcome into Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. You guys already know the vibe. So much to discuss as a lot has happened in the NBA over the past 48 hours. There was a headlock battle in Golden State. We're hearing some trade rumors about a two-time All-Star playing in Chicago right now. Before we get into all of that, and then there was the Wemby versus Chet first regular season game. A lot to discuss, Danny. But before we get into all that, let's go into the world outside of hoops real quick. We found out this week a couple of things in the world of music, my friend. Drake and J. Cole going back on tour. We also heard Andre 3000 is releasing a new album, but it's going to be all by the flute. Are you excited for both of these things?
I am a fan of all three of these people, but both parts of the topics, yes. But I don't know. I have not heard the flute played by Andre 3000. I know he makes good music. I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out.
Definitely interested.
I don't know about excited. I'll be excited once I hear if it's not just flute and it's him actually rapping on it with the flute, maybe. But the Drake and J. Cole tour, for sure, 100% excited. One of the best songs of the year. Cole, one of the best verses of the decade. Yes, I said it. And
decade.
Yes, that's what I said. And I'm going
decade. I wasn't prepared for this hot take.
Yes, one of the best verses of the decade. Just because the stage, it's the final stage, and he came with it. Other people that can match up said Wayne, Baby got some verses, Drake got a couple verses, and Jay on God Did, I think, is one of the top verses. But yes, this one is one of the best verses of the decade. And
damn.
I'm just
looking. I gotta go back and read the lyrics now.
Man, damn! You don't know the song. Come on, if you don't know,
I know the song. I know what you're talking about, but decade. Come on, man. I mean, I really gotta break it down. If you're gonna say decade, I gotta research this now.
Actually, in my other group chats with my friends, I told them it's probably the best verse to date, is what I said.
Oh, see, here you go. Here you go. Oh, come on, bro. All right.
So give me some artists.
I wasn't prepared for this assignment. So
I'll let you do your research and come back with it.
I'll come back next show.
But yes, it's one of the best verses of the decade. And don't get me back into old school BS with some Pac and Big. They verses.
No one's saying ain't nothing wrong with that.
Only ones that compare said you can go, but they ain't to today's rap metaphors, verses, and punches the way these guys are punching. Only people that you can come with that has the same punches is Drake, Baby, Lil Baby, Wayne, and Jay. And you have to find the same type of final stage where it's top rappers in the same song that comes better than this one. They had Cole with Yachty, they had Cole with somebody else. I'm like, he went off on those, but that's not the same stage. Y'all talking, all right, regular season or playoffs, early playoffs rounds. This was a final stage. And I want to now say Wayne and Jay had a verse with
what about Eminem? What about Eminem on Jay-Z on Renegade?
That is a final stage. And that's one of the top verses, but it still ain't touching these punchlines. It ain't touching these punches.
All right, I'll come back next week with my homework assignment. I didn't know I'd have to do all that, but apparently
this is so. Back to the tour, though. I am excited about the tour, but I do hope that the performance is more than them just on stage rapping.
You want, you want it to be a performance.
I want it to be a concert. I want it to be a concert. At least bring out some features, bring out some people, have a show, maybe some dancers, some type of
Yeah, don't just rap, make it a show. Yeah, you already know how I feel about concerts.
Drake just did his concert that way. It's a flex, and I enjoyed it. But it's really just him going off hits after hits. It's like, okay, he's just rapping. He had a little bit of storyline, little Peter Pan. He had Virgil. He had the younger version of himself on stage.
You want a show? After going to Usher, you deserve to see a real show. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between a show and a concert.
Usher was phenomenal, bro. I got 3 hours pop locking. To slow dances and fast
dances. Effort. Yeah. He actually put in effort, dances, and all that good stuff.
He's put on a show for 3 hours. And he's working. I can see how he needs recovery, needs a massage, ice tub, like he's putting in work.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still disappointed I haven't seen it yet, but maybe you never know. Time is not time is still on my side.
Yeah, for sure. This is last couple months of residency in Vegas. So I think he's leaving. So you don't have a lot of time left if you're trying to go catch him.
I got time. All right, let's talk about the NBA. Why don't we? And as a matter of fact, maybe we won't talk about the NBA, at least in the beginning of this show, because if you watch the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, it looked more like the WWE than the NBA, at least the first 5 minutes of the game. There was an altercation, a confrontation, a little kerfuffle between Jaden McDaniels and Klay Thompson.
Kerfuffle, huh?
Kerfuffle, you know,
put
that on your Scrabble list.
That sounds like a made-up word, you know, one of them KG words. When Paul Pierce is like, is that what he called it? A little not the banner, but he called it something else. I forget what it was. But
kerfuffle.
That's a
you
hell
know,
of a word.
if this was inside the NBA, you know what Shaq would say?
What would he say?
Shaq would say, "Spell that, tough guy."
Yeah.
Kerfuffle. Actually, by the end of the block, maybe I'll try and spell it. I think I got it. But anyways, so there was a little kerfuffle between Jaden McDaniels and Klay Thompson. And at one point, because of that, Rudy Gobert came through and kind of had his arms around Klay Thompson's neck, not necessarily a chokehold, but around his neck for a moment. Draymond Green pounced on the opportunity and put Rudy Gobert in a real deal chokehold straight out of the WWE, straight out of the WWF. Lex Luger would be proud. And then Karl Anthony Towns tried to double up on it, but Draymond Green, savvy as he is, you know what you do? Put your chin in your chest, baby. No way you could chokehold him with your chin in your chest. Veteran move there by Draymond. I'm sure we haven't gotten the news yet, Danny, but I'm sure Draymond's going to have some type of suspension for how long he was applying the chokehold. Give me your reaction to all of the madness that took place in Golden State on Tuesday night.
Well, there's more than just madness in Golden State, but I thought it was hilarious. Just like everybody else, the reaction was the same. I was wondering what the first scuffle started with, and then it just finished with Draymond choking out Rudy, which had nothing to do with the start of the scuffle. Klay and McDaniels got ejected because they thought it was, enough. They kind of escalated a situation that neither one of them kind of de-escalated, which I agree. If you're holding the standard, everybody, because I've seen people get kicked out for less. If these guys are tussling and grabbing jerseys and ripping jerseys, then yes, they should be tossed. I thought it wasn't a lot. I do like the passion into the game. I wish we'd go back to the games back in the day where they allowed more, because now they're calling technicals for guys dunking the ball and taunting a little bit because they don't want to escalate situations. So I'd rather see more of it than less of it. But if they keeping that standard, then yes, you have to let guys, I guess you have to toss guys for certain situations and let it be known you're making an example of guys that are doing overboard stuff. And so Draymond, I think, was very much overboard, to say the least. And he's going to get a suspension. Now, I don't know how many games. There's some people talking 10. I don't think that
10 is excessive.
10 is excessive. Very excessive. I think, 3 is fair, maybe 5 at the most. So, yeah, we'll see. But, yeah, it was funny. It was funny to see. And, the way Draymond pounced on the opportunity, it seemed like he had a history with Rudy.
He was ready. He wanted it
unsolved. He needed some closure for whatever happened in the past.
I will say this about the altercation last night, and I know we're not supposed to promote violence, but as an NBA viewer and as somebody who wants to be entertained, damn, Tuesday night was entertaining. All of the beefs, all of the on-court animosity, that is what we want. And I don't know if it was the in-season tournament or not, Danny, but something was different. Something was in the air last night. Here's a list of players or coaches got into little interactions last night. Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Draymond Green, Desmond Bane, Jaden McDaniels, Santi Aldama, Taylor Jenkins. Hey, all of them were involved in some type of animosity last night. That's what I signed up for. Sure. That's what I want.
I love the angle you're going with. That list is probably half the people because it's really Santi and AD scuffle now. Jenkins,
Desmond brought some intensity to it.
But it wasn't real. D'Angelo pushed out the way, de-escalated.
That's all you need.
The real smoke is between him. The real smoke was Jaden and Klay, and then Draymond and Rudy. But outside of the other guys, are small instances. But yes, I do love the fact that the passion in the game was high, the intensity of the game, emotions were high, and I think if you want to get that back, I guess the best way to promote it is people will watch this more if we had more of a hockey style type of league. And not saying we need to let fights go, but we should not kick guys out for one small altercation or scuffle. I think you let those guys play out. Now you're getting a more intense game. Now people want to see what's the reaction on who's going to hold their head, who's going to be mental. Let me see Klay. Let me watch Jaden. See how he reacts. You know what I'm saying? Let me see Rudy and well, Draymond too much. He had to get out. We'll see how these guys react now, how tough they're going to play each other. Who's going to talk trash? Who's going to back down? Who's going to fold? So I think that type of intensity, that type of emotion, I miss watching the game, because back in the day, they used to never get kicked out. They used to have fist fights, clothesline guys, have hard fouls, and still be in the game. And then that would make the game even more intense. And the viewers want to watch it even more because we want to see what happens next. So yeah, I think we need to go more in that direction and kind of pitch that to Adam and let him know, look, man, stop kicking guys out. Keep them in the game.
Yeah.
You can put a penalty box. You make a little penalty box, maybe. You got to sit out for 5 minutes. But I need to
cool off.
See what's going on.
Maybe mandatory. You got to go to the bench after altercation. Well, you don't necessarily got to get kicked out the game.
A 2 minute, penalty box or something. You're saying you got to be subbed out 2 minutes, but now we need them back on the floor because I need to see how they handle it, how they get back. So,
yeah. No, that's hey, listen. I just saw a clip the other day. LeBron, it was an old clip. It was the Lakers versus the Grizzlies, and Desmond Bane was talking trash, and LeBron was talking about how he was fed up with it. And then like plays later, came back and dunked it on Jaren Jackson. I'm like, that's why we want dudes in the game.
That's what
that's what we want to see. There's no fights. No real fights is gonna happen, Adam. Let's let them play.
Half the guys in our league aren't fighters. More than half aren't fighters. But I guess you could just fine them and keep it moving if you want to keep the small fine so that you can kind of not promote it as much. But I think it's great for the league. I think it's for entertainment. I think it's great for TV. So, and I want to see more competitiveness because we have today now too many guys being buddy, friendly, which is not a issue. But I know a lot of fans are not happy with it. They're not as fond of it. They don't like a buddy, but especially the old school players. And said some of the old school guys, they knew each other and were friends, but on the court, they were trying to take each other's head off. That's the competitive nature of what was back in the day. And I miss that part of the game, and I would love to see it come back full circle.
Yeah, I got a player I want to talk about too that looked a little bit too buddy for me Tuesday night. But let's continue this. Continue with this topic. Okay. So Draymond Green, puts Rudy Gobert in the chokehold. I'm sure if you're on the Timberwolves, you hate Draymond Green right now. If you're on the Warriors, especially if Green doesn't get suspended too many games, you're like, hey, that's my road dog right there. It leads me. Maybe not all that. Okay, but anyways.
He's on a fine line right now.
He's on a fine line.
On both sides, I think on both sides, obviously the Warriors respect him and they appreciate what he brings and does for them night in, night out. He is at that thin boundary line right now where, before he was bringing more good than bad, and you live with the BS and the fines and the technicals because of what he brought to the floor. Now it's so early in the season. He's getting a little older now. He hasn't been able to play enough games to be able to see or show the results of his positives yet. So he's got to be careful, man, to where hopefully he's already starting off the year, coming back from injury with getting kicked out. I don't want to say back. Multiple games now. And you don't want your teammates to be, they're the ones that have your back more than anybody besides the fans and the media. So you don't want them to start, this guy Draymond, man, every time we turn, you don't want them getting fed up. So he's on a fine line, man, where he needs to kind of be careful.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, I think it's an appropriate time to name your all hate them as an opponent, love them as a teammate starting lineup. So to give you guys an example, I know Danny has talked about him earlier this year on the show. Pat Bev. Yeah. You said before might have not gotten along with him. But as soon as you're on his team,
can I do my list?
Go ahead, do your list. I was just trying to explain to the audience.
To the fans. I know how it is, and I'll break it down to the audience. These are guys that are annoying as hell, another team that are gnats, that get under your skin, probably have some dirty plays here and there, get edgy, but you want them on your team because they're going to compete night in, night out. They're going to give you their all. And off the court and in the locker room, they're just laid back, great teammate guys. And yes, Pat Bev, one of those guys in there. Great teammate, great locker room guy. On the court, he's a gnat. He's a pain in the ass, but that's what he does. He gets under your skin. And it helps elevate his game, and it kind of takes away from other. He knows what he's doing. Mental games messing with you, and he's effective. Dillon Brooks, another guy, great off the court guy, great teammate. Pain in the ass people see as a dirty player, but he's just edgy. Both of those guys are very edgy. I'm gonna go with Draymond. He's gonna be on there as well.
Okay.
I
That's
never
your
had
power
him as a
forward or
teammate.
center. That's your power forward or your center, however you want to play it.
Never had him as a teammate, but I'm gonna have him as the power forward probably. And you know, he obviously speaks for itself what Draymond does.
Yeah,
he's gonna be great defensively.
Yeah.
We've seen what he's done offensively. We've seen what he's done antics wise and what kind of energy he's brought. At your point guard, I'm going to Chris Paul.
Okay.
You know, people talk about.
I could imagine. I could imagine how hard it is to play against him.
It's a pain in the ass playing against him. He does little tricks offensively where he might foul you on offense and get you a foul on defense. You know, there's a couple plays that they show like how, you know, they say he's one of the dirtiest guys. I'm like, he plays hard, man. He competes, but I'm sure you'd love to have him on your team. So you got CP at the 1, Pat Bev at the 2, Dillon at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and at the 5, center. I'm trying to think of a center who's a menace. There's not many, man, that do crazy
centers are built
stuff.
differently nowadays.
They are. And I'm probably going to have to go between either Steven Adams or Joel Embiid. And those two guys.
And I think those guys are still kind of liked too much.
Yes. I don't think Joel. I think Joel is more or less liked than the Steven Adams and the Jokic's.
Yeah, that's true. Joel does embrace the hate. He embraces the hate. He likes to troll.
And he does have some chippy plays, and he does mess with the crowd and talk trash. So I'm gonna have to go with Joel at the 5, probably. I can't think of anybody else offhand that could be a menace at the 5, or even Smalls. There's definitely some bench guys that I can think of that are guys you're like, oh, this guy's a pain in the ass to play, but he's great to have as a teammate. And I think Russ is one of those guys. Russell Westbrook. Chippy, hard edge, nose going at your throat, pause. He's going at your head, and he's trying to take your head off. But he is a competitive guy and like trying to kill on the court. But from what I hear, he's one of the greatest teammates. You know, I've never had him as a teammate, but I hear he's one of the greatest teammates. Does things the right way, but you know, very edgy, and there's no friends on the court. He is trying to just kill everything moving out there. So yeah, he's one of the guys that I would say is in the top 5. Hate playing against, love to be on your team type of guy.
Yeah, could definitely see that one as well. We got to get to the pick and roll in the next segment, but real quick, let's talk about a report that was, I think, first broken by Shams Charania on Tuesday. Zach LaVine apparently is on the trading block. Him and his representation open to a trade, and apparently now the Chicago Bulls themselves open to trading him. He's on the second year of a 5-year deal. And Shams reported that there are 3 teams mainly interested in Zach LaVine. That would be the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as the Philadelphia 76ers. Looking at those 3 teams, Danny, can you say if any of them make a bunch of sense to you? Obviously, we don't know what the trade package going out would be. We can make some assumptions, but let's just say if you were to rank where Zach LaVine would fit the best out of those 3 teams, Philadelphia, Miami, and LA, how would you rank them?
I would probably say Philly first, Miami second, then LA third. Philly, because they already have the superstars in foundation positions at the point guard spot and at the big man spot. That leaves an all-star or star spot on the wings. You do have Tobias Harris at the 4. Zach is a 2-3 combo, so he's a good fit there more than the other 2 teams. Miami, I think they have great wings. Said you'd have to get rid of Tyler Hero, but you already have Tyler Hero there. You know, but assuming you're keeping Tyler Hero and Jimmy, so you already have wings that handle the ball, shoot well, and the offense is based around them. I think Miami more so needs another steady point guard. Kyle Lowry is great. He's good at what he does. He's been doing it for decades. But I think you need another backup or another guy that's a star at the point guard position.
I would love to see him have a pacey point guard. Well, somebody who could speed up their offense.
For sure. That's what I think they need more than a wing or another superstar wing guy or shooter, because they already have Tyler Hero and Jimmy. Lakers, I think, make the least sense because they have a good chemistry. And it doesn't make sense because Sixers are rolling and Lakers have a lot of people for the have back from last year, and I don't think they need anybody to take more away from. It depends on who goes out, but I think they have a good feel, good system, good chemistry with the guys they brought back from last year, with Rui, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, and then of course you got Bron and AD. You got Vanderbilt, Torian Prince there. You got a couple of good pieces there, role players. I think if you throw a third star in there, I think it makes it a little janky, taking away some of the opportunity from AD and Bron with handling the ball. It depends on who goes out and who doesn't go out. I think it could be a messy situation and end up being a Clippers scenario where there's stars on the court that don't know how to share the ball or share rhythm. It's harder for Clippers guys to get rhythm because it's 4 stars and they're used to having the ball in their hands all the time. Zach is a guy that's used to having the ball in his hands, so is Bron and so is AD. And if those other guys are there like D'Lo or somebody else, it'd be tough. But I think it makes the most sense in Philly, but I still do think that they're playing so well. I don't know if you want to mess with that.
I don't see it for Philly, bro. I don't want to have a Maxey LaVine backcourt. Right. And if you're starting Melton, then wait, he's at the 3. He's not getting traded. He's not coming off the bench. I doubt that. Yeah. So now he's starting at the 3. Then who's guarding Jason? Who's guarding Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
I agree. I said it's today's NBA, they go smaller. I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan of small ball, but not that small in the front court. A lot of guys do 2 small guards. I think it's hard to play that way. I'm more of a fan of 1 small guard and 2 bigger guards on the wing for defensive reasons and rebounding reasons. So yeah, if you have, not saying Zach is a small guard, but he's not playing like he's a bigger defensive guard where he's going to rebound a lot. But you have him, Melt, and Zach at the 1, 2, 3, and then Tobias at the 4, and then Joel at the 5. You have Kelly coming off the bench. You still be very good, but I think it makes you small in your front court for sure.
Yeah,
your backcourt is very small. Tough to guard the Boston's, the Milwaukee's. It's tougher to guard the teams that have bigger wings.
The Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers are 2 teams with a lot of trade capital. Yeah. Don't waste it. That's my opinion. Don't waste it. Zach LaVine is a fine player. He's not the one to empty the cupboard for, in my humble opinion. With that being said, producer Jed, can you look up kerfuffle for me? I'm gonna spell it and then we're gonna go to break. You ready? Jed, just give me the thumbs up on the group chat so I know we're good.
Kerfuffle. I remember the word that KG used and Paul is used to call it. It's like he's back and forth jitter. He said, I forget what word KG used, and he was like, "Who are you, Webster?" Like, like out here. You know what I'm saying? So I said jitter. That's the word I use, and you made up a word. It sounds like you just made up a word for scuffle.
Kerfuffle. Here we go. I don't know I don't know the proper definition, but I believe it means to have an altercation, probably physical altercation. Kerfuffle. KER FLUFFLE.
Spell that again.
See, y'all killing me.
I got it.
KER FLULLE. Kerfuffle.
Close, but no. There's no L
what
in
was
between.
Kerfuffle.
UFFLE. Kerfuffle. No fluffle. It's kerfuffle. KERFUFFLE. So yes, commotion, disorder, agitation. Yeah. Ruffle or disarranged, put in disorder, disarray.
Kerfuffle. There you go, guys. All right. So for all of the audience members out there, next time you're out there with your friends and you want to show how vast your vocabulary is, you want to put something into your vernacular, kerfuffle. It's the word of the day. We'll be back with the pick and roll in just a moment. Back with Inside the Green Room. You guys know the vibes and you know what time it is. Pick and roll. Yeah. Let's talk about everything we saw in the NBA of recent. Tuesday night battle of the favorites to win Rookie of the Year. Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren. Danny, it disappointed. Neither of these dudes guarded each other. Neither of them scored in double digits. I'm sorry. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. The best person on that court, the one that I liked watching, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The man has an absolute bag. He can go to work. Yeah, deep bag.
Big bag.
With that being said, it made me think of some one-on-one matchups that I would like to see. Matchups that would make me take money out of my pockets so I can sit courtside and watch them hoop. Number one, the best one for me, and I don't even think it's close, is Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Do you have any matchups that you would take money out of your pockets and pay to see?
Yeah, I said it's hard to find today's NBA guys would actually go at each other and guard each other on both ends of the floor. I think Anthony Edwards is one of the guys that takes pride of the ball at the end of the floor. So I'd love to see him versus like a Jason Tatum, a Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard type scenario. I do like Luka when he plays against the Clippers. It's always a fun matchup when he's playing against Kawhi or PG, but he does not guard them on the other end, so it's tough to say.
Give me a Luka Devin Booker.
Yeah, I like the Suns matchup too. I don't know if Luka will guard Book on that side, but this year he has to guard him or Brad. Maybe he'll probably guard a wing.
He's got to guard somebody.
They're gonna put him on a Kogi, but so yeah, it's hard to say when today's NBA guys don't match up against each other or on each other on both ends of the floor. Like if Steph and Dame were to play each other, you're gonna see them offensively. They're not guarding each other. But yeah, there's a lot of matchups that I would love to see, but it's a smart coaches are gonna allow their superstars to rest on defense and not have them play both ends of the floor, especially when they're a little bit older. Ant is a little bit younger, and he is very good at playing both sides of the floor, and I think he loves taking on that challenge. So I would love to see him match up with one of today's young superstars.
Give me an Ant Devin Booker. I think that'd be a good one. I don't know if Devin would guard him. They probably put Okogie on him, but give me an Ant Devin Booker. I would like that one a lot.
For sure. Wings. A lot of people forgetting though. You're forgetting about one other guy that is always fun to watch, and he hasn't been playing for a while because he's suspended. And that's a Ja Morant. Love to see him when he plays.
He's not guarding anybody either. He's not guarding anybody either. Nobody's guarding nobody, Danny. That's the point.
For sure. When he has the matchups against certain teams, certain players, I like seeing Ja when he plays against Steph or Dame, or even when he's playing against him and Edwards, when they're going head to head, they put up good numbers. They grew up playing with each other. They know each other well. It's a fun game to watch when it's, those guys, raising their game to another level.
Yeah, they're just not guarding anybody. All right, let's roll to the next topic. Lou Williams, former Raptor, former Clipper, played a number of places, former Atlanta Hawk, has said in a recent interview that the Clippers, when they were in the bubble, kind of let their foot off the gas because they believed as a team that people wouldn't respect the title coming out of the bubble. So they let their foot off the gas. And that's part of the reason, if not the reason, why they didn't end up winning the championship that obviously you won as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Two things, Danny. One, is that cap or nah?
I spoke to Lou today, and I think people took this morning we had a great talk on FanDuel TV on Run It Back. So Run It Back posted some of the clips, but we had a great talk. Rudy Gay was on as well. Michelle Beadle, she was always great, big Spurs fan. So we had a great conversation about it, and he's getting a lot of heat for it. And I think what he meant is that his team wasn't fully committed. They weren't fully committed to the bubble. And I agree with him. I don't know if they took their foot off the gas was the right way to say it or the right way to put it, because they were up 3-1 and they did, of course, want to win. But to start of the bubble, they didn't have guys in. They had guys coming late. And then when they had guys in, guys leaving, going back home, some were serious issues. Some had deaths in the family. Some had, personal reasons to leave the bubble. But to start of it, the first month, some guys came in late, so that you could see guys were in and out, and you could tell that they weren't as committed. And he agreed. And it's hard to get to the two teams that were fully committed was us and Miami. In Miami, they weren't a top seed, and that's the reason why they were one of the last teams standing, and they were in the finals because they were fully all about it. They were together. They came together during that time. And other teams said some did. Denver played well. Utah had a good run. A couple teams played well. I think it was Denver. They had down 3-1 twice and came back and won. But yeah, I give credit to some of those teams. Some teams, they were just younger. They're still coming together. But you could tell who was not committed, and he's not wrong. Once the bubble happened, it's hard to get everybody there. And once they got there, they were just kind of in and out, iffy, and some guys got out of shape, and some guys left, and they just weren't about it. So we spoke about it earlier, and I don't disagree with them. They did have good pieces. Now, I don't know or think they would have won or beat up. Would have been fun. That's the matchup to see that matchup, but we never got it. So it would have been fun. It would have been fun.
All right, Danny. Rank the championships that you've won in the order of difficulty. Number 1 being the hardest, number 4 being the least hard. And that would be the Spurs in 2013, 2014. That'd be the Raptors in 2018, 2019, Lakers in 2019, 2020, and UNC national championship in 2009.
We're gonna put the college one in there too. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's tough, man. Because I mean, I always say NBA is harder because it's hard to beat a team 4 times. But if you're the better team, you're gonna win. In NCAA, you have to have a lot more luck because any given night you could have a terrible night and be going home. And you could still be the better team. So I'd have to put NCAA up there with one of the hardest things to do for NBA.
And now we need it in order.
We had a really good team. We ran through the tournament. We won most games by 20. So that's probably going to be on the back end. Number 1 hardest was the bubble. Bubble is number 1, the hardest for sure. Number 2, I'm going to say Toronto. And then I'm going to go with the San Antonio one because we had just a really good team. I wouldn't say we ran through the rest. We had one 7-game series against Dallas. The first round after that, we beat everybody pretty handedly. And we were familiar with the Miami team that we beat pretty handily in the finals. It was the sweetest one because we had just lost them the year before, but it wasn't the hardest one. It was the first one. It's like your firstborn, so it's really special. Toronto, we had a team, but we're the underdogs. Golden State had KD at the time. We wasn't supposed to win that series, even with him being out. And they had
you were down 0-2 down 0-2
to Milwaukee.
Had to go to overtime to win Game 3 versus Milwaukee at home.
And then we went 7 games with Philly, and we had to win a buzzer beater shot before going into overtime. We had to throw up a prayer. I shouldn't say a prayer because Kawhi works on that shot and he's very good at it. But we had to throw up a prayer to win that series to go to the next round, down 0-2 against Milwaukee, and then playing a very good Golden State team. Even without KD, he got hurt first game. They still won, I believe, the game that he got hurt. And then even Klay got hurt. He still won game. It took us to 6 games. So yeah, that one and the bubble though, just mentally, emotionally, even though we won and beat most teams pretty easily, it just was the toughest one mentally and emotionally. Like just the atmosphere and going through it and being away from your family for 2 months, being away from your friends, not having an outside world. No matter how nice they made it, it just was an enclosure. And it was just a lot on being a human and taking that all in. But yeah.
And
LA
if you factor
in and then San Antonio 3 and the NCAA 4 because I think we have one of the best tournament runs in history of NCAA. I think we do in terms of winning because I don't think we had one close game. It's LSU, and I think we still won that game by like 13.
Yeah, no. An underrated factor as well when it comes to the bubble too, outside of how the challenge of being kind of landlocked and all that stuff, there's no crowd. And a crowd, even when you're on the road, or even when you're on the road, a crowd can help you because it could motivate you. You want to shut the crowd up, but just the energy of the crowd.
For sure. And I attest, some guys are just crowd play, like they play with they're just better when there's a crowd. They better put on a show. They're just better. Some guys are just not the same guy when there's nobody around, when it's just practice. And I think some guys feed off that energy and they need that energy. I feel like I'm one of those people. I definitely love playing with the crowd and that energy, but some guys need that energy to feed off of.
Yeah, 100%. All right, real quick before we go to break. Okay, so also on Tuesday night, the Clippers lost again. They have not won a game in the James Harden era. This time they
played
lost
Denver
to
though.
Nuggets.
Shocker. Denver's really good. They fought though. They made it a game. It was a really close game. It was a good game. But it's the Denver Nuggets.
But on the record book, they don't put really good loss. They just put win or loss. So another L. 0-6 is James Harden's become a member of the team. The Grizzlies also lost on Tuesday night as well to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I believe right now, if you look at one of the group that Denver is in, the team that is right behind them actually in this in-season tournament are the Houston Rockets, who are on a 6-game winning streak and are back in action this weekend. They take a tour around LA or around California, rather. This weekend they play the Lakers, Clippers, and Golden State. Yeah. My question to you, Danny, who has the better records by the end of the season? Rank those teams 1 to 3. Houston Rockets, Memphis Grizzlies, LA Clippers.
Ooh. I think the Rockets are going to have the better record than both of those other two teams. I'm going to put Clippers. I mean, a lot of things can change. A lot of things can change. A lot of things can change.
I'm going to ask the question one more time.
The Clippers need to make something shake.
Who has the? Let me just make sure I say it one more time. Mm-hmm. So maybe I said something.
I heard you right. Memphis is last. Houston is going to have the better record. It's going to be Clippers, Houston. I think Houston edges them off by a little bit. They have better chemistry. Unless Clippers shake something up and they make another trade and get some new pieces where they actually have some role players to help them, it's going to be a struggle all year. And they're a target. They're a target because they have all those stars on the team. Everybody wants to beat them. Everybody wants to make an example out of them. And they're still trying to find the rhythm. They didn't have a training camp with James. They didn't have any practices with him. And they have 4 superstars, 4 top 75 guys that damn near, I don't know if PG was in there or not, but they have a lot of Hall of Famers there that need the ball in their hands a lot. And it's hard to win games, hard to be effective, hard for them to be efficient when they have to split the time with sharing the basketball.
Hey, you're the one who played in the NBA, not me. I know that was.
I mean, give me your. You're asking.
No,
you have an opinion too.
I understand. The Grizzlies obviously be the last one. Now, okay. I like what the Rockets got going on. I especially like how Sengun and Fred VanVleet are kind of working as dual playmakers. They're averaging 14 combined assists together. They're playing. Yeah, they're playing really well. With that being said, I can't. I just feel it feels nasty to do it. But maybe even Ime Udoka got something going on out there in Houston. If they end up having a better record than the LA Clippers, that would be nuts. Absolutely. But hey,
you're the same thing. You're if getting the same thing.
I can't. I can't.
They're balling, man. The young guys hooping, man. Listen, Ime's got Fred and Sengun playing well, and they got Dylan playing good defense and also shooting efficiently. He's taking the right shots. He's not shooting a bunch of shots that are, he's playing within himself and within his game. So are everybody there, and Ime's going to make sure guys play within themselves. And they have some good energy there. Clippers are still trying to find that their juju. Like, they don't have the energy yet. They need to pick me up. Going 0-6, they got to find some positivity somewhere. And I see them turning around, but I see it turning around too late. And I think they're gonna be neck and neck with Houston. I don't think it's gonna be a fair. I think Houston might have maybe 1 or 2 games, like 2 or 3 games on them, winning wise. But Memphis is tough. They have another 15 more games before Jobs comes back. Is
basketball gods? The basketball gods have cursed. You talked about the basketball gods last year? The basketball gods have cursed the Memphis Grizzlies, or maybe they just cursed themselves. So but there's no debate about where the Grizzlies are going to land. That Rockets Lake Clippers one, that's going to be a fun watch for the rest of the season. We'll be back after the break, y'all. One more segment before we take it home. Welcome back to Inside the Green Room. Harrison Sanford and Danny Green. I'm disappointed, Danny. We got a busy day for your boy. I'm heading over to MSG Networks after this show. And as you know,
big time.
I do that show on Stadium Network as well. So it's a busy day. I'm not going to be able to do my rant about dating and feminism, but I'll save it for next week. I'm sure you're gonna appreciate
we need that. We need that.
I just went through a whole birthday weekend, not mine, celebrating somebody else's birth, and I got a rant I got to get off my chest. We'll save it for next week. With that being said, I think it's only appropriate to talk about what happened last weekend as well, and not in the dating world, in the basketball world. Your former teammate Kelly Oubre was a pedestrian hit by a vehicle Saturday, I believe it was, a hit and run, unfortunately, in downtown Philadelphia. Your thoughts on the whole situation and anything that you would want to say about everything that took place?
Yeah, I texted him to check on him, see if he was all right once I heard the news and saw it's crazy. Philly's a little wild. He's center city. I think he was in the middle of the city, downtown, basically. And somebody hit and run. And I heard he something with his lung, fractured a rib, but could be back as soon as 4 to 5 weeks.
Collapsed lung, fractured rib, and I think Nick Nurse said Tuesday night that he did show up to the facility and got on a bike, I believe.
Yeah, he rode the bike. So yeah, he seems to be doing okay spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Physically, he's just not ready yet, so it's gonna take him a couple of weeks. But you gotta be very careful in these streets of Philadelphia, man. You just never know who's driving around, if they're under the influence or not. I don't know if they saw who he was or knew he was. I doubt they did. They probably wouldn't have done that. Maybe they didn't see him, but there's a lot of commotion in the middle of the city, and you got to be very, very careful. So, yeah, I hope he gets back soon because they're going to need him. And he's a great kid, good player, really good player. I shouldn't say kid, grown man. He's a great man. He's a good person, and I wish him the best and wish him well. So, hopefully we'll see him on the court soon.
Yeah, I think I remember I was talking to somebody not too long ago about Kelly Oubre and about how shocked I was. And you and I talked about this during the off season, how shocked we were that he wasn't off the market yet. And for him to have come to Philadelphia and play at the level that he did for a franchise that's trying to win, and something that he talked about during his early media availabilities, just being happy to being in a situation where the fan base is hoping to win, wants to win desperately, was definitely something that he hadn't experienced so far in his NBA career. And he was playing like it.
Playing very well.
Best wishes to him. And hopefully he'll be back on the court very soon. When we come back next week, who knows what we'll talk about, but best believe I got to get this rant off my chest. I got to.
Let's not forget about it. We won't forget about it.
No, we won't. And next week you'll have the Scrabble word of the show. Whatever it is.
Kerfuffle.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. See you next time.